Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Knowledge and Power Podcast Show. We're
Hey,
live
hey,
on
What's
YouTube.
up?
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back. What's up, Jake and Ray? What's going on, fellas?
what's,
What's
what's
up? What's
going on?
up?
How was your week? How was your week? What happened this week special, Jake? Anything?
Special?
Yeah.
Not too special. Just had the grandbaby over.
Oh, there you go. That's special. That's special right
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
there.
special.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
man. I miss my grandbaby. She's in Ohio, so I don't get to see her.
Oh,
But
I
she does
know,
call on the phone, FaceTime and stuff, so we get to see her that way.
man.
Next best
That be
thing, I guess.
that's
So what
like
about
She's
the
you, Ray?
actually
dream.
Would
making
you,
she actually
huh?
making conversation when she actually making conversation when she
Man,
call.
she runs the call.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Man, she does all the
Mario.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does all the talking.
She
And
does.
she likes to watch she likes to watch TV while we're on the phone. And so in her mind, we're watching the show with her.
That's
And so
funny. That
she sets the camera down and just watching TV.
Oh,
And
like you there.
it's hilarious, man. She's a hoot. But yeah, she runs the conversation. She loves talking to us, especially her Mimi. She loves talking to Michelle.
good.
So what about you, man, Ray? What was up this week? Anything special happen
Um, Now I got a 3-day weekend. That's what's special for me.
tomorrow? You got off?
Yeah, tomorrow off, man.
That's
Yep,
what's up.
just chilling.
Man,
Just chilling. It's been a good week.
Martin Luther
Yeah.
King Day. That's a big
Yes.
day.
Sure
So
is.
I think I'm going to attend a virtual like presentation on Facebook in honor of Martin Luther King Day. I have to work, but
Uh-huh.
I'll tune
Oh, okay.
in and try to catch it. I saw a lot of different things on like Facebook where people are doing virtual presentations since we can't really
Hmm.
get together like that.
Right.
But I encourage you listeners, if you can do anything to take part in MLK Day, please do so. Honor the
Well,
Yes.
hey,
memory of the man. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Extremely.
Normally with my job, we go out and pass out food and
Oh, really?
like hats, scarves. Yeah, I've been doing it now since 2016. So
But yeah,
that's
That's
what
because
we
of
cool.
normally
COVID,
take.
that's all scrapped.
No, 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 it's not scratched. We just have to do it a different way now.
Okay.
So we
Well, that's
usually we
good.
go into the shelter and serve food, but we can't do that part.
Okay.
Okay.
But we still would do the coat, scarf,
And
hat, glove thing.
that's through your organization, your job.
Yeah, yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's
That's awesome.
awesome. Yeah. It is.
So, are you taking part in it tomorrow or no?
Well, then,
You just chilling.
yeah, I actually headed up.
Okay, you the man.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
See,
so it's
I
not
thought I knew
quite
Ray. I thought I knew him.
it's not quite through the job, but it's a lot of people that I work with. But
I see.
somehow we put this together and we get a lot of donations from other people.
Well, that's
And
good.
under the umbrella, because we all work at the same place, which will remain nameless, we
Yeah.
go out and we've been doing this since 2016.
Okay.
Great way
Well,
to
that's
give
good, man.
back.
That's a blessing.
Hmm.
Yep.
I didn't know that, Ray. I'm glad to learn that. That's good.
Hmm.
Yep.
So, last week we had a pretty intense conversation, and we're not going to go into politics this week, but I understand we had some nice feedback from that conversation, and it seems like, with the inauguration coming up, I'm hoping we don't have a repeat of what happened on the 6th.
Yeah, I agree. I
You
agree.
know,
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can keep everything under control.
Right. They
Yeah,
better
I
be
agree, man.
prepared this time.
I
So,
did sit back
question.
and think
Oh, go
about.
ahead. Go ahead, Ray.
I did sit back and think about what did take place here, not here, but back in Washington. And I remember going to President Obama's inauguration
Yeah.
with my daughter,
Yeah.
and she actually won a writing contest, and they allowed her to. picked a chaperone to go with her, so I was able to go with her. And I just remember how many people were standing there watching that event, man. And I started just kind of reflecting on that, thinking about how people were getting trampled a couple of weeks ago, and I can only imagine if that had just broke out in parents who are trying to be parents and protect their kids or their loved ones, and how you just cannot control a stampede of that size when it just gets out of control, when it gets out of hand. And that's just
Right.
scary, man. And I just kind of reflected on that after we did the show. Like, wow, what if that had taken place when I was there witnessing Obama's second term? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It definitely
Yeah,
is.
man, that's an interesting perspective. Interesting perspective, because that would be traumatic if something like that were to happen. I'm just hoping everything is cool and nothing pops off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Because we don't need any more of that kind of drama. I don't think.
No, we don't.
But what I was gonna say was, have you guys heard of the NAACP issuing warnings about the safety of black communities leading up to the inauguration? You heard anything
No,
about
I
No,
that?
haven't heard that.
please fill us in with the knowledge that you have, man.
Well,
Seriously.
I was wondering if you heard it, because it's actually fake news.
Oh,
So
really?
there's a lot of things circulating around the internet that the NAACP has issued an official warning to people of color based on intel they've received about activity from racist groups, and that we
And you
need to
said
be
it's what?
about
It's fake
activity
news.
intel that they've received about activity of racist groups against people of color. And so this
Wow.
stuff is going across text messages, private messages.
Oh,
And so
boy.
what I did was I went to the NAAC website and I saw an official statement rebutting those claims.
Okay.
So if you see this kind of thing, it's not really coming from the NAACP. They got an official statement saying, we have not received such intel. We have not issued any warnings. And if you see it, it's fake news. And I was just
Wow.
wondering if you guys had seen
You
that,
know,
because it's not the
I,
first time it's
I,
happened.
I hadn't heard, I didn't think I would hear that word ever again. But
You got a couple more days,
Right.
yeah,
to hear it. But
yeah.
yeah. So
Oh, that's
if you
tough.
guys are who out there listening, if you see that, just know that I was able to verify through the horse's mouth that that's fake news. Sometimes you got to research these things before you just start sharing them
You
and
Oh,
do.
assuming
definitely.
they're true. Yeah.
Yeah. People
But
have nothing
today,
better to do.
yeah, people got nothing better to eat. But it's amazing how quickly I'm talking about we will believe
Yeah.
that kind of thing,
Oh, yeah.
and just how you get
Uh,
those forwards in your
Yeah.
inbox, Facebook or Twitter or whatever, people
And I
forwarding
hate them.
stuff, and they never even looked at the source to find out if it was true. Can't stand
Yeah.
that. Can't stand
Yeah.
that.
I know.
So today we've got a pretty interesting topic, I think.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
So,
too.
and just to let you guys know, the listening audience, I think we're going to have a variety of opinions on the subject. And so we're just going to talk about it and see where it goes. But the
Good
question that
disclaimer.
came up, disclaimer. You got a disclaimer?
No, I'm just saying that was kind of good, a good segue
Okay.
into
That was my
what we're
that
about
was
to talk about.
my official
Right.
disclaimer. Okay. But we were talking and the subject came up of, our opposite sex friendships, especially in marriage, are they okay? Do they work? Should they exist? What are the rules? What are the boundaries? And we're going to kind of talk about all that right now as we further this discussion. And I think we've all had experience in this area and have a valid opinion. And
True.
so I'm not going to start. I'm going to let Ray kick it off.
What?
Yes,
Don't put
brother.
that on me, bro.
Yeah, man. You're gonna
Wow.
inaugurate us into this topic.
Mm.
So
Well, here's the thing I do want to say.
Okay.
It's just not. It's just we let's not be closed minded to think that only a person that is married, um, this fits them. Because
All
here's the
right.
thing: there
Okay.
are some people who are aspiring to be married um, one day. So what you do, this conversation could, be a good segue to rethinking how you handle or develop your relationships before you start your marriage or get into a marriage. So I just want to throw that out there. Some people may feel like, this doesn't refer to me, so I'm going to turn it off. Click.
That's good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it applies
Mhm.
across the board. I think it's especially sensitive in marriage, of course.
yeah.
But like you said, does not apply to married folk. And so,
Mhm.
Yeah.
since you said that, I'd like you to expound, if you will, on that community of people, and what are the immediate concerns that come to mind when you think about this subject?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think it's important to kind of look at, we don't always get it right. Sometimes there are some relationships that may cause a threat um, to the person that you're with,
Mhm.
and you have to be open minded if there is a threat or if that person has a concern. Because here's the thing: here's the kerfuffle, the big situation of it all. We spend our whole lives making friendships
Hmm.
before we meet uh, that significant other that we say I do to. So the question becomes, okay, so do I just not make friends with anybody? My whole life growing up, grade school, through high school, through college, and then when it's time to say I do and walk down the aisle, do they just, okay, you're done, delete, you're out of my system? So that's a question that I throw out there because
Mhm.
I think that's the best way to jumpstart this conversation because you have a life, you have a world
Yeah.
before you meet this significant other. But at the same time, you have to be mindful and be respectful of that person that you say that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with.
Hmm.
So
Right.
all that's like a conglomerate of you trying to do a nice little song and dance to make it make sense.
Right. Make
Yeah,
it
that's
work.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's how I'll start off by saying that.
Okay. That's an interesting question because, like you said, or interesting point. We have friendships before we even decide to commit to somebody in a
Yeah.
committed relationship or get married. What happens to those relationships once you do enter a committed relationship or get married? Do
Right.
you just throw that person to the side? What do you do?
In my case, man, it
Go ahead.
was crazy. Once I got married, it's like I guess my friends call themselves being respectful, but they seem to all just have backed off. And
They got ghosts.
yeah, and it's not like not only female friends but male friends as well. It's like they like let me give him this space now that he's married now. And I think there, even with my female friends, there were people who felt like, well, I don't want to I don't know the rules with this, being
Right.
married and having friends stuff. So, so let me just back off. But at the same time, it's open to befriend my wife as well.
Hmm.
But that's not in every case though, because with some people, the wife may be like, well, I don't want her around, or whatever. But
Yeah,
Right. Right.
but
yeah,
it just depends on how true that friendship is. They may have that
yeah,
level of respect to say, well, I don't want to overstep that boundary. But some
Right.
of them will get salty and be like, oh, what? Now you got nothing for me now that you all married or whatever. So
yeah. Those
just
are the ones to be
depends.
concerned about.
Right.
But you said something interesting, Jake. You said um, if the wife has an issue with it,
Yeah.
Is that a conversation that you willing to kind of drill down and ask, reasons why?
Yeah,
Um,
you better have
because
that.
my thing is asking reason why. I don't think that's you coming up against the person that you love and that you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
come against them and give pushback. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it helps you kind of understand, where to put how to put things in the proper place because you need to
Right.
respect the person that you're with because that's a conversation. I guess not that I guess that's a conversation that definitely needs to be had for sure.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
Yeah. I think that once you adopt that or cross that bridge of committed relationship,
Mm-hmm.
marriage,
Right.
I think it does become a matter of respect for your partner.
Yeah.
And when you said Jake, people started backing off, male and
Yeah.
female. I think it
Yeah.
was like you said, it's the matter of respect and not necessarily knowing, where you were and what your thought process was. So they
Mm-hmm.
probably thought it was just hands off would be better.
Right.
But I think a conversation does need to take place because priorities matter in your relationship. And so
Yeah.
you don't want to put any person in a position that jeopardizes the prioritization of your spouse. You don't want to put anybody in a
Mm-hmm.
position that jeopardizes the feeling of respect that your spouse might have. It's like I said earlier. It's a very fine, intricate subject because there's a lot of personality issues involved,
Yeah.
and so like I'll be transparent.
yeah,
When
be that, be that.
when we first got married, Michelle and I,
Mm-hmm.
she had a friend in high school that they were like best friends. A
Mm-hmm.
guy, a dude, and
Oh.
he went to the military and then came back around later in our relationship, and I had a lingering discomfort
Mm-hmm.
because of a personality issue. I
Mm.
was like feeling insecure about this dude because I didn't know him. I knew they had been friends for forever, and I
Mm.
knew she wasn't trying to get with him. But I don't know anything about this guy.
Right.
Is
Where
he
is his head
trying
at? Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Was he
so,
trying to get to know you at all? That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
see, that was it too, because, like I said, he had
Mm-hmm.
been gone for a long time. Out, they hadn't communicated in a long time, and then when he came back around, I was introduced to him, but then I was in my feelings. Is my point. So if he had a
Gotcha.
wanted to try to get to meet me, it would have been a difficult task because I was being immature about the whole thing. And so I immediately went on to jealous, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't know who the guy was. I heard who he was, and I knew people that knew him, and I knew people that associated with them together, and they all had nothing but great things to say about him. But I don't know. I'd probably have to talk to my wife to find out if I was the reason why they're no longer communicating. But I remember
Mm.
because of my insecurity about not knowing him, feeling some kind of way about another dude trying to, communicate with my wife. It was
Mm-hmm.
that whole territorial thing that took place. And it could have been something that we all three got to know each other and whatever. It could have been a great thing.
Yeah.
But, I kind of just cut it
Yeah.
off at the knees because of how I was feeling.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, that brings you to the point about personality issues. You have to respect that as well, because if like your spouse has, serious misgivings due to trust issues or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case might be, if it's going to create all kinds of friction for you to try to hold on to a relationship or to develop a relationship with an opposite sex person, it might be in your best interest and the household's best interest just to leave it alone.
Right.
Go ahead, Ray.
Which,
Bring that
But so do you,
controversy. Bring it. Bring it.
so do you just dismiss every relationship whenever it occurs, be it opposite sex or even same sex friendships, when the spouse has an insecurity? or do you address, hey, let's drill down and figure out why is there such an insecurity that's there?
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
just
the
a question, because because yes, you do have to respect your spouse, because that's the
yeah,
one you lay next to, the one that's gotta
right.
that's gotta put, cook your food, and so, but you don't want nothing to go in there.
Right.
But the real matter is, honestly, I think people come together so that, who you're with, who I'm with should actually bring out my better part. Should
It
mature
should.
me in some ways, and I should do the same thing for them, mature them in some ways. Because, honestly speaking, um, it's a lot to this conversation, man. Because I
Yeah,
just,
it's a very broad subject. I mean, there's so
It's
yeah,
a
many
lot.
I could,
levels and
because I
layers.
yeah, because everyone has an opinion. That's why I would love to see what other people would think about this, in their comments or whatever. Because
Mm-hmm.
there was one time in my life when, yeah, I was just free spirit, in the sense that if I knew I wasn't doing anything wrong, I'm cool. I'm
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
That's
yeah,
you that has to get over yourself. But then, later on in life now, I find myself being a little bit more rigid, in the sense of, what's their motive, questioning,
Mm-hmm.
when I
oh yeah,
never questioned, that before, because I always felt like, if you're going to cross a line, it's because you wanted to. And
right.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
it's nothing I can do to keep that from happening by chaperoning the friendship.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That was how I used to think.
Right.
Now I'm just kind of like, I do a song and dance now of, yeah, I I don't know where I land on that, to be honest with you. Some days I do, some days I don't.
I
Right.
like that stance because it takes two. But even if there's one and the other person is not interested, you still have a wife. You can't, I don't think you can be a friend with somebody who you know or feel is interested in you,
Mm-mm.
and
Definitely
yet
don't
you
cross
have,
that line.
you're with someone else,
Yeah.
whether whether they pretend that, oh, we're just friends, or it's like this whole new work husband and work wife thing.
Oh
I hate
man.
that. Ain't that
Yeah.
crazy?
That's crazy. My wife hates that statement. She hates
Right.
it.
No,
Yeah.
that's like a huge no. But you said something earlier, Ray, like the people who are aspiring to be in a relationship. When you are really cool with someone of the opposite sex, that could be like like a back off, a deterrent for
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
another person who might be interested in you. So I've
Yeah.
Exactly.
seen that. Yeah, I've seen that before. Where I want to step to her, but she always with dude, and.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll say this. This is a opinion, but a personal disclosure, without disclosing too much right
Right.
now. And people, I mentioned when we first started going live, I'm divorced. Um, so my mentality, as I did the reset on my life, was that I was not going to pick up any new friends of the opposite sex along the way, in this
Mm-hmm.
waiting period of seeing what
okay,
Okay.
God was going to do.
gotcha.
And I think that I have done a phenomenal job of fending off, um, just trying to just keeping it strictly whatever the moment is. If it's just, I need
Yeah.
to help you with the work something, okay, it's just that. You don't need my number, don't call. It doesn't go beyond here. Some people can say that's being rigid, but I just do not want to create any kind of
Hmm.
discomfort,
Right.
um, for what I'm building for my future. And I
Right.
want to make sure that my lady is comfortable, that she feels safe,
Yep.
and that she can
That's
trust me. Um, and that there's no question that I'm trying to hold on to this new relationship, that hasn't been in my life. It's something new that I'm exploring, because it takes time to get to know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Um,
Right.
and okay, if I have history with somebody from the college years, and like I said, as long as it's nothing that's happened between us, and it's been
Hmm.
strictly, you know, decent and platonic, well, then that's my argument that I can stand on. Should, if it was ever to be a problem, I could say,
Right.
hey, it's this
Right.
kind of history, and we can build from that. And if it still continues to be a problem, then that's when I say you have to be open minded to figure out, okay, what's going on? Why am I giving so much pushback? Inwardly, am I trying to hold on to this person because there is something deep down on the inside that's not right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Oh
you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you can feel it too. I mean, it's like but you don't know what if it even if it's not stated. You can feel when somebody is feeling you, or
yeah,
you it's a little extra something there.
Okay.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
like
This is good. So we got some comments coming in. We can make sure we get to those a little bit later in the conversation. Michelle, who is AKA Lady Sugar, says make sure you have an effective communication / conversation, and that was in reference to, you know, earlier we were talking about insecurities and things like that. You got to have effective communication between the two of you, the two people involved,
oh oh
about
yeah,
how you're feeling about this friend.
right.
So yeah, I think that the communication part is critical,
Hmm.
because if you're gonna have a friend, and if you define friendship like we define
Yeah.
friendship, we're not talking about associates
Right.
or
Okay.
folks that we happen to work with, the people that we know,
Right.
and we have a conversation with in passing. We're talking about an establishing or an established friendship.
Right.
And
Y'all hang
I
out
think,
sometimes.
yeah, just like friends do. You hang out, you
Yeah.
call, you FaceTime, whatever the case might be. And so really the question is, what is the friendship providing that you need to hold on to that's
Ooh.
not being provided in the marriage or the relationship? Because
Oh.
like I said, when you cross that bridge and go into committed relationships, marriage, everything kind of changes, and you
Hmm.
should be getting everything you need from your spouse.
Right.
Should. I know that doesn't always happen, but we work towards that, of course. But you
Right.
should be getting those things. If you are getting things from your friendship that you should be getting in your relationship, then I believe that is where things become problematic.
Definitely.
Michelle says, my wife Michelle, Lady Sugar,
Hmm.
she says that well, she questions whether men and women can truly just be friends. And so I'm going to pose that question to
She
you all. Do
she
you think
questions
What do you
that.
know now?
men and women can just be friends? And I'm saying no romantic inclinations, no
Yeah.
attraction, no
Hmm.
sexual tension, just be friends. Do you think it's
I
possible?
Wow, bro.
I think it's
You
possible.
gonna
Well, I'm
woo.
proof that
Go
it's
ahead, Jake.
possible.
Go ahead, controversy, Jake. Come on.
I am proof that that is possible. I have, I'll say one friend in particular who definitely told me, and this we became friends during a time, well, before I was married, when I thought I was the man. and she,
Oh,
You still are the man, Jake.
confession, confession.
and
Oh,
she was
knowledge and
like,
power.
no, she assured me, Jake, I would never get with you. We would be friends, forever. And to this day, we have been never anything outside of that, and we've been
Mm.
cool ever since. But even now that I am married, she is a friend, but we don't talk like that anymore. But she still considers me like a brother now.
Hmm.
But my wife, she said, you got too many female friends because I'm friends with like some of my ex girlfriends, not like to the point of we call
That's good.
call
Jake.
I'm sorry.
no
That was a call.
no no, it's not. Not like we call or hang out or nothing like
No, I
that,
got you, Jake. I'm just being
but you
silly.
know what? But we're cordial and we may communicate if we see each other or something. But
Hmm.
she's cool with them. Some of them she has even befriended herself. So, but there are some where she's like, nope, no.
Right.
So it just
Yeah.
depends on that level.
Wow. Um, yeah. Nate, your question and Jake, your response to his question just trumped any kind of controversy that I've ever brought to this show. I'm just like, whew,
Jake brought the
my
controversial
my stuff
response.
is Mickey Mouse compared to
Oh
Man.
wow.
man.
Now, see, I'm
You
going
know,
to. Oh, so go ahead, Ray. I'll defer.
well, I was just gonna say, in reference to what are you trying to hold on to, or what does
Hmm.
that relationship give, Nate, that you asked?
Right.
Um, that's the thing that I think we have to be honest. We, as in the person that's holding on to the opposite sex friendship,
Hmm.
that's something that I think maturity. That's where maturity kicks in, and we have to be honest with ourselves. Am I holding on to something in
Hmm.
this unique relationship that I feel like I can't get from
Hmm.
uh, my serious relationship or my marriage that I'm
Right.
in? I mean, that's something that you have to be honest with for yourself because I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully, every person is not looking at uh, the friend of the opposite sex as an opportunity to for something, waiting for something to happen romantically.
Right.
Hopefully, your mind is not there. Hopefully, you can be mature enough to realize that. I mean, come on. I mean, I know we're adults, but just like we
Hmm.
were told to play nice in the sandbox when we were in our grade school, I
Hmm.
mean that carries over in our adulthood. You can't always violate your relationships, man, just because they're there. You can't always have friendships with benefits with
Hmm.
everybody. I mean that's you create a name for yourself then, which is not a
Exactly.
great name I'm gonna say right now. But yeah, I
Right.
mean, I don't look at it as I'm holding on to something. But here's the thing: if I'm gonna be honest with myself, and I do see well, this friend is giving me something that um, my significant other is not giving me in the relationship,
Hmm.
then that's where rubber meets the road, and I gotta put on my big boy pants there and fess up
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's not going to lead to anything that's going to be productive or helpful.
Now, how do
Exactly.
you address that? Do you tell your significant other, okay, I'm getting this over here. Can you give me that? Or do you just let it go and not get it at all?
Jake is Jake is fiery tonight.
You know what? Y'all ganging up on me with these questions. Well, I feel like I'm under the lights. No, I'm just joking.
And I think it's like you said, Ray. It's a moment of maturity,
Yeah.
a moment of maturity that says I've got to really address this with my significant other.
Right.
If I am finding myself being fulfilled through the friendship in an area not being fulfilled in the marriage, I need to bring that to my significant other and
Hmm.
say, hey, uh, this is something we need to talk about because
Right.
I don't think I should be getting that from my friend. I should be getting this at home. And if you are getting that, and this is my position, maybe a moment of controversy, if you are getting that kind of thing from a friend that you're not getting from the spouse, like you allude to, Ray, that could lead
Hmm.
to some dangerous territory. I think
Right.
it's wise to cut that off.
Oh yeah.
I think it's wise
Yeah,
to
I
cut
agree.
that off because now temptation enters into the picture.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
know every man is
Hey,
drawn away by his own lust when he is tempted.
Right.
And so everything that you need should be coming from your spouse. And if it's not, that's
Yeah.
something that you might need to get some professional help with, some counseling to talk those things out and figure out
Hmm.
why that's not happening.
True.
And Jake, like you said, if it's not happening and it probably won't happen, even if through counseling and everything like that, you've
Mm.
got to be willing to go without that particular thing because if you explore it outside your relationship, then you are putting your relationship in jeopardy.
Yeah.
You
yeah, I
know,
agree.
Yeah.
and Michelle says something pretty interesting. We should have a female point of view because right now we're kind of coming from the male
Right.
point of view. And the interesting question is, I'd ask all of
It's a
you.
man's world. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
The question I would ask you guys and this is be realistic, and I kind of talked about it earlier with Michelle's friend. If your significant other had these male friendships that were going on, how would that make you feel? Would you still feel like it was okay? Would you still feel like, oh yeah, that'll work? Or do you feel differently when
Wow.
it's your lady
I
who's
know.
got 3, 4 male friends, 2 of them she used to date? How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
Oh man, I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. Here,
Go
get
ahead,
a
tell me.
do a solo on me, please. You need to get this.
Okay, hold on. Let me get close to you, bro.
Yes.
Boom. There you go.
All guys from the past are off limits. Period. You had a relationship. Period. Okay.
Oh my
Come back in,
goodness.
fellas.
You said period.
I feel
Period.
Big
I mean,
flat
that,
black period.
I mean, that's why when Jake said what he said, I was like, "Ooh, wow," because I just can't even imagine that. Because I
Yeah.
haven't held on to anybody from my past.
Mhm.
It's history there.
Yeah.
It's romantic history, even if it was just a one night history. I mean, come on, man. That's just I'm not gonna believe that I can manage that. That's just me. Some people feel like they can, but that's just
Yeah.
me. I'm not there. I can't wrap my head around it. And I'll say this: what's stopping y'all from going back down memory lane just one time? And
Exactly.
that famous question is, let me get my voice on. Why didn't we work out?
Wow.
That is a
We're
question.
so
That's it right
we're
there.
so good now. Why didn't we work?
We keeping it real.
And that
Keeping it real here.
that
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not everybody is okay enough to fight off that urge or that thought. I mean,
Hmm.
especially if the person that you were with, has grown to a place of maturity and they're aging gracefully. I mean, because we're all much older now. You're not the college age anymore. And
Right.
you're looking at them like, wow, a lot of regrets that you
Mm.
have.
Hmm.
So again,
Mm.
I'm up for dialogue when it's just been male friends in the past. But if you had
Hmm.
a history with them,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
works
Not
both ways, male and female. And
exactly,
no disrespect to anybody who feels opposite.
right.
right,
My position is if you had romantic or sexual history,
Yeah.
that person cannot be a friend. And I'm not
Right.
going to sign off on that
How?
friendship. And I wouldn't expect my significant other to sign off on a friendship if I was trying to, introduce that person as a friend.
Right.
Once you
yeah,
get heartstrings and soul strings involved, like you
Yeah.
said, who you never know when
And
those
hopefully
old
no
feelings will start to
soul
rustle up.
ties.
Yep, soul
right,
ties,
right.
and
Right, and
expect
just the whole thing of what they don't have in their life and they're missing, and then you just are available, and they start remembering, and
yeah,
so easy to talk to. You're always there for me.
yep.
Ah,
Especially
That
if you're
was a
having any issues at home or in your relationship, that person
yeah,
can, and those memories can,
hmm
start to want to lead a person astray. So yeah,
that was a
I think
song
those
too.
types of friendships are off limits. I agree with you, Ray, on that.
Remember that song, Everything I Miss at Home?
Ooh,
oh,
Sherelle.
see,
yep.
but see, if there's been a
Yep.
love song documented about it,
Yeah.
There
that
you
means it's
go.
law.
It's
Can't,
law.
can't. Yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, I think that's I think that is an interesting point when you've had history. You've got to be
yeah,
mature enough to
Right.
recognize that is bringing what the Bible says, trying to bring fire into your bosom,
Yeah.
and
exactly.
you will get burned.
You
You
definitely
will
will.
get
You will get
burned.
burned.
And so I
But
guess
I
the
think
oh, sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say, but I think saying that we put a lot out there, but I
Mhm.
like to look at it from an angle of, and this is the question that I usually pose. Um, Let me get to know them too, and
Right.
we can cut all
Exactly.
this thing out because because
Yeah.
one thing I don't think that I think jealousy sometimes can really take you to a place of ruins. And like I said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, where you're just getting rid of everybody
Mm-hmm.
that you knew in the past that you had a healthy relationship with. And it's
Right.
not that because I'm holding on to this old relationship that this is a better person. This person's giving me something that, my spouse or my significant other can't give me. That's not why
Mm-hmm.
you hold on to a relationship. It's just that you just have history
Mm-hmm.
together, and and it hasn't been violated. But here's the thing: let me get to know them too. And hey, if they call
Yeah.
the house, let
Yeah.
sometimes they should be able to call and talk to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk to you this time. Let me talk to Ray, or vice versa.
Right. Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and if they can't show that kind of respect,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then I question it. Then I begin to question, okay, what's going on? And I know I can't replace the history that you may have had together,
Mm-hmm.
but Joker, I'm here, and you need to start fusing me into your world.
Mm-hmm.
As
Yes,
Now
simple
I
as
that's
that.
agree with that.
that's really the only way it should happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to be gone because
Mm-hmm.
a friend of yours should be a friend of mine now that we're one. You know, or
Exactly.
Hey,
yeah.
do you
Now,
guys remember? I'm sorry, Nate. I'm just get this
Oh,
out.
go
I'm
ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
Do you guys? I'm still an avid Cosby fan. Do y'all remember the episode from the Cosby Show when Elvin was married to
Oh,
Sandra,
oh yeah.
and his good friends from college came into town,
Mm-hmm.
and they were females,
Yep.
and he went to dinner with them,
I don't remember that one.
and
And
oh man,
Sandra gave
Sandra
approval,
clowned, man. She
but
she
at
gave
first
approval,
she was like, "Go on, have fun."
and then she could not believe he actually went, and the dude had a good time, and he stayed out late, and
Right.
she went off, and he had
Yeah.
to go talk to Dr. Huxtable, and Dr. Huxtable was doing his Alvin, what you gonna
Mm-hmm.
learn thing.
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
Yep.
I
but
gotta. I
but
gotta watch that one.
yeah, that
Oh,
was a
okay.
good one, man. So it jarred my memory when we were talking about this because it's kind of like
Hmm.
that question of though that was just an episode on a
Yeah.
sitcom, but still
Right.
that was kind of like a real life situation because they infused the whole college relationships in there, and they're
Hmm.
adults now with kids and careers, and he was just
Right.
happy to see his buddies who
She should
happened
have
Right.
to
been
be of
there
the
with him.
opposite sex. She wouldn't go. She
That
would
was
not go.
yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't
Yeah.
see the episode, so
Yeah.
but I want you guys to hold your thought because that's going to be an interesting way to close this out. But I
Hmm.
want to talk about today's show sponsor,
All right.
Magnificent Marriages.
Mm.
Today's show is brought to you by Magnificent Marriages. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube. And
Yeah.
Magnificent Marriages is committed to and passionate about empowering other couples to work hard, work together, and create a magnificent marriage. Their motto is to keep it hot,
Mm.
enjoy the journey, excuse me, and the two shall become one. If you're looking for some good
Oh wow.
tips, marriage tips, if you're looking for some marriage coaching, things of that nature, please follow them on Facebook. The link is below. Thank you for sponsoring this segment of the show, Magnificent Marriages. All right, fellas, the segue. You hit it on the nail on the head, Ray. There have to be rules.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes men are stupid. I'll put it out there. I think sometimes we are, like Alvin, completely oblivious to the rules and
Yeah.
the dynamics. He should have never went with them by himself, had a good time, stayed out late. He should have he should have had Sandra go with him, and they all enjoyed themselves together.
Mm.
Because now you leave her at home wondering, and I imagine the ladies were probably attractive, whatnot.
Hmm.
You leave her at home
Yeah.
wondering what the heck are they doing, or why hasn't he home by now? You see what I'm
So
Right.
why
saying?
she approve it then? Why she
That's
approve it?
that's what I'm thinking.
You see,
I'm
So
like,
that's
so so
where
should
read
he
that's
have
between the
where
read
now
her
lines.
listen,
body
listen,
language?
listen. This
Okay.
is where when I say men are stupid, and it's probably why Bill was like, "Man, what's wrong with you, Alvin?" Because
Yeah.
we need to be more intuitive. Because sometimes our significant others will put the test out there. and see what we're going to do. He should have been wise enough to know this is not a good idea, even if she's saying I approve.
I
You see what I'm
guess.
saying? I learned this is unrelated, but I learned a hard lesson
Yeah.
in my marriage when high school reunion, 20-year high school reunion. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. And then my friend Terrence talked me into going. Okay.
Okay.
And I said, okay, all right, we can go. And then put it to Michelle, do you want to go? Do you want to go? And she's like, no, I don't want to go. You have fun. And I should have known
Not to have
intuitively.
fun.
Oh,
Right.
no, not to have fun. But I should have
That's
known
it.
that's a big event. That's a big deal. I should not go without her by my side.
Oh
And
yeah.
so the
Maybe.
fact that I left her at home and she wondering what's going on, and
Wow.
that was a mistake on my part. But that's just lack of maturity, lack of intuition, lack of insight, and sometimes men are stupid. Just put it out there. But so let's end the show, guys, talking about the rules. Okay, if you're gonna have opposite sex relationships, or you're not gonna have opposite sex relationships, if you're going to try to make it work, there've got to be do's and don'ts. And I think we covered a couple of do's. Past relationships, no. If you've ever had an attraction to this person, or that person had an attraction to you, no.
Right.
And we have to respect the intuition of our wives or our significant others, because it works both ways. If she's saying to you, I don't feel that person, or I have misgivings about this person, or no, she likes you, she's trying to get with you, and I can see it. You've got to be able to respect that insight and say, you know what, probably not, no. But let's talk about some of the rules other than those that you can kind of help manage it the right way. You said, Ray, I better be able to know that joker too. I think that's a
Yep.
huge rule. If you're going to have a friendship of the opposite sex, that friend needs to know your spouse or your significant other,
Yep.
and that spouse needs to know that friend. They need to be able to have conversations. They need to be able to be included in your conversations and interactions. They've got to feel comfortable that that friend has nothing but respect for your significant other and your
Right.
relationship.
Your
That they're
marriage.
not
Yeah.
doing
Your marriage.
anything that they're going to try to detract from your relationship, bring it down. They should be encouraging your relationship, building it up, doing what they can to see the best for your relationship. And there should be, I think, nothing hidden, nothing secret. Everything should be on the table. You shouldn't have conversations that she can't, or your significant other can't be part of. No text that they can't be part of, or that they can't read.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
Yeah. That's
inboxing, no
huge. That's
emails
Yeah.
huge.
that the other person, their significant other, doesn't have access to. There's a lot of rules I think
So,
that would help manage it. Go ahead, bro.
so here's a question for you then. So what you're saying is, if there was something that came along, let's just say you had someone of the opposite sex that you were just really tight with for years, and they had some kind of dark history in their family history growing up, and they were having a moment, and they were sharing something with you, and then they said to you, I just need to talk to you, or please keep this text between you and I.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so you saying that
Mm.
kind of conversation is off the table, then? So you would rather not know? Just wondering.
Mm.
It's just the whole idea of that secret being out there with a person of the
Yeah.
opposite sex. If you're hiding that, so let's say they find out you're
Yeah.
hiding whatever they wanted you to keep to yourself. What else are you hiding? It just
Right.
opens the door
That's
to
what. Yeah.
problems and issues that if you keep everything on the table,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I would say if a person says, yeah, just keep it to yourself, just between me and you, you still need to, I talked to so and so, and he or she said, "Now, don't let this go no
Because
further between you and me, but this is what's going on." Transparency is the key.
well, that opens
Right.
another door as well. The door of, okay, you're my confidant now. I know you married
Hmm.
over there, but I
Ooh,
need to
come
tell you,
on, Ray. Come on,
I
Jake.
need to tell you secrets from time to time.
No,
And
see,
that,
that's the danger
yeah,
zone.
yeah,
But
You
if you've
need
yeah.
always had that, so that's my question. So does that have to stop, or do you say, hey, I need to bring
Oh,
in my significant other? We have
yeah,
these moments now to at least share with them, so they won't get
yeah,
all bent out of shape.
right. It's got to be this way, or we can't do it. That's what you have
No,
to say.
yeah, I think that that's a good point, Jake. It has to be within the confines of
Hmm.
respecting your marriage, your relationship, respecting your significant other, and keeping the dynamics of your relationship the priority over your friendship, because that marriage, that committed relationship takes precedence over anything you have, even if you go
Yeah,
back 15 years. Once you say I do, or once you commit to a person, all that other stuff has to submit itself to your current situation. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
That's my feeling.
It,
That's what I think.
that's true.
Otherwise, it's gonna be an issue, because at the end of the day, this is the person that you have an allegiance and a dedication to, a responsibility for and with,
Right.
especially if you're going to build a life together. Once you build that life together, all the rules change, and everything has to be centered around the success of that relationship. And
Yeah,
True.
sometimes
pretty good.
opposite friendships present a hindrance to that success. You have to be willing to
That
at least admit that, and
that's true.
review that relationship and see if it's going to be a hindrance. If it's not helping you, it's not healthy.
That's true. Remember that there's another movie. Remember Chris Rock, I Think I Love My Wife? Did you guys watch that?
Oh yes, I saw that.
Uh,
Man, that movie is hilarious.
all right.
Yes,
Here-
yes,
she
yes,
came
yes.
out of nowhere and disrupted
See,
the whole, yeah.
and he was
But see,
keeping a
that's that.
secret.
But see, that's
Yeah.
that thing. She waltzed back in from the past, correct?
Right.
From the past.
Exactly.
Not
Yeah. See that.
but not from a romantic past. She was just
Yeah,
a friend from
yeah.
the past.
Right,
Hmm.
yeah, but see, if I'm not, it's kind of like, I'm not saying this in a disrespect, so please don't look at it that way. But if
Hmm.
I'm not actively in conversation with the person, it doesn't even have to be regular. But come on now, it's got to be more than a year, 2 years, 3 years. You're not just gonna waltz back up in like that,
Hmm.
and we just gonna pick back up. I mean, because
Yeah.
that does create a red flag. That, wow,
Exactly.
this must have been an awful special person. You talked to him in how long? Oh, 4.5
Yeah.
years. Oh, and they
Yeah.
just come right back in. Okay, why they just come back in again?
Hmm.
So,
Exactly.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's something, I'm telling you, that just, it's an open dialogue that needs to be ongoing,
Yeah.
because
Ongoing.
yeah,
Ongoing.
because again, while I definitely respect the platform of marriage, think that it is, yes, definitely what God created, and it's God's idea. So I'm not trying to go against that. So with that being said, we need to also just make sure that, we're stretching and we're growing our significant others to say, okay, why do you
Hmm.
feel the way you feel? Because honestly, we can use that thing of jealousy, mm, for every situation,
Yeah,
just
that's
to shit,
true.
because jealousy shuts it down. No more conversation. I just don't
Yeah.
have a good feeling. I'm jealous of this person. We're done. We're done. And
Well,
you're
I've
like,
heard
hey,
this.
yeah,
Yeah, my wife has said this on occasion. Women know women.
Yep. That's the same
So,
thing Michelle says.
yes.
And and
So,
I'll give her praise, because for the most part she's been correct.
uh-huh, okay.
Maybe one occasion where I would disagree, but for the most
Yeah,
part, once I was able to stand back and see what she was seeing, she was correct.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah,
And it's
Yep.
true. They do. They know each other.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
and they do. And with me saying men know men is not just not rebutting. you know,
Uh-huh.
what your wife
Yeah.
said, Jake. But it's just that thing again.
Hmm.
Because
Right.
I've thought it. You know how my mind just is always in overdrive. You know, why do
Hmm.
we waste the time of? Is it a waste of time of developing the relationships that we develop when we know that I gotta let this go at some point in time?
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's the ongoing question.
I feel you.
Well, let me throw a couple questions at y'all before we go. So I want to get some of these
Okay.
in here. Uh, Michelle says she had a good question. Let me find it. Okay, can you manage soul ties? We talked about people that you've been had relationships with before. Can you manage soul ties and have a successful relationship with that person, even if you've got those heartstrings and soul strings and that history?
I don't
I
think so.
say, I say, I say it's just, I say it's too dangerous. I think it's just too much to try to handle. The mind
You
is
can,
not that powerful.
how do you manage a soul tie? Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
that's a
it's
that's
possible.
something God has to manage. I don't think that
Right.
we are strong enough to,
Mm-mm. That
especially if
has,
they start pulling at you. You know what I'm saying? If they start
yeah,
pulling and you start to feel something,
right.
that's a hard cross to carry.
Mm-mm. That has to be broken. You can't manage them for sure.
Now here
My hand
goes
is
a
raised.
go ahead, bro.
Ready for the controversy?
Come
Bring
on
it,
with it.
No, there is none.
bring it.
No, there is none. Because no, there is none. You can't manage because every. Let's just be real. Every relationship goes through some type of dips and ups and downs. There are going to be some times people are off uh, what they call their game, and it's easy to dance back to that person if they're available,
Mhm.
readily available when you may be
Mhm.
having an off game. So, and that person can swoop in and kind of fulfill
Yep.
what's missing. So no, it's I wouldn't try to challenge it. I wouldn't try to
Right.
manage it. I wouldn't try to go there.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yep.
suggest anybody else try it either.
Mm-mm. Don't try
It's just
it.
too heavy, too hard. All
Yeah.
right, our man Jay Will is back this week, and he
All
has a
right.
good question. He says, "What challenges can occur if you marry someone who is not a friend, or marrying someone who is a friend but no other attractions?" That's a deep question.
Mm.
One more time. Can you bring that one more time, Nick?
He
Right.
says,
Yeah.
"What challenges can occur if you marry someone who is not a friend, or you marry someone who is only a friend but no other attractions?"
Mm.
That's a deep question, Jay Will.
Yeah. You
That's
either
a carryover. That's a carryover show right there.
That's a carryover show.
right. We gotta do a whole show on that because either way, you gotta go down a long road
Yeah,
to get to a goal.
I think short
Right.
answer is I'm not sure unless you have like arranged marriages or something like that. Why you would marry someone who is not a
Not a
friend?
friend, man. That
Well,
should come
it's because
first.
yeah. Well, I mean, because he said it in the question there. Um, they got other things that they connect on. I'm assuming that that's what he's saying.
No, he's
Well,
saying you.
that
The
was
other
part
opposite was
two.
this. He said marrying someone who is only a friend but no other attractions.
And why would you do that?
Yeah,
Okay, well then you marry him because of the sex. Can I say that?
I was gonna
Just
say it,
keep me out.
Ray, but I didn't want
Come
to be the
on now.
controversy. Come
Come
on,
on. I mean, you always
That's the
that's
setting me
it.
up
friends.
for the bad
That's
guy.
it. You
My
marry them for the
goodness.
sex, and that
Friends
can
with
only carry you so
benefits.
long.
That
That
can
can
only
only
carry
carry
you
you
so
so
long.
long. I mean,
Hmm.
that's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it. But yeah, that's Jay Will. That's a good question. You know what? We're gonna take that offline and try to figure out a good answer for you.
I really,
Hmm.
yeah, solid comeback for that.
A solid comeback.
Yeah.
And we'll next time we come back, we'll have an answer for you. But he also said, just in response to something we said, he said, not all significant others can be trusted with someone else's secrets. When we were saying,
Oh, I
yeah,
agree.
Oh yeah.
sometimes that significant other
Oh
won't be able to
yeah.
hold that
That's
water.
true. Yeah.
And so I guess you need to know your significant other before you disclose,
Right.
But see, that's the gray area. Once again, you're holding secrets, like you said,
Yeah.
Jake. You're becoming a confidant. And if your spouse or your significant other can't hold the secret, then you won't
Right.
tell them. But then you're holding
Exactly.
someone else's private matters of an opposite sex. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. It's a
That's
can of
Yeah.
worms.
it's a can of worms, big old worms.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
fellas, is if nobody else has any other commentary, we've reached our time. This is a conversation, like
Yeah.
you said, that can we could probably talk
It's
another hour and a
ongoing.
half about it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so maybe we'll
I
have
mean,
a part two at some point down the road. Talk about some more of these questions and rules. But
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for another riveting conversation as usual. It seems like every time we get together, we have a pretty powerful conversation. And so I'm glad that I'm in partnership with you guys to broach these deep subjects.
yeah, same
Likewise.
here, bro. Thank
So if there's no other commentary, I'm not going to put you on the spot this week, Ray, unless you had one prepared.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got something, but it's not like a funny. It's just a true statement.
Just a nugget of wisdom. That's all we
Just
need.
a
It don't
nugget
have to
of
be
wisdom.
funny every
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
What you
yeah.
got?
All of us have a past, aka
Mm-hmm.
a history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't be robbed of your future because you don't know how to manage the history of your past.
Mm. Another good one.
That's
Yeah, that
that's
one came
tweetable,
from a
bro.
person that's personal, man. There, so
That's a
yeah,
tweet,
Mm.
Ray. You
yeah,
need to put that on Twitter.
yep.
Right.
That is coming from a place of my private time, and like I said, God is doing some amazing things for me right now and
Amen.
in life.
Yeah.
And hey, I want to fully embrace and enjoy, uh, and not be robbed because of history.
Yeah. Say it one more time.
Yeah, one more time, please. That was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All of us have a past, aka
Mm-hmm.
history. Don't
Hmm.
be robbed of your future because you don't know how to manage the history of your past.
Mm,
That's good.
that's good.
Yeah.
So, people, if you want to hear more insightful wisdom nuggets like this one, listen to us on Anchor FM. You'll find our podcast there under the name Knowledge and Power. We're on the major podcast outlets, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and others. You can find us out there. As usual, we appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next week with another blazing topic. All right,
Yeah.
fellas,
Yep.
we'll
All
Yeah.
see
right.
you next
Thank you.
Watch
time.
watch
Bye bye.
watch the inauguration.
Yep, watch it. Watch it.
Oh yeah. Can't miss that.
Yeah, can't miss that.